If you activate a neurotransmitter called dopamine, which is known to stimulate the brain's pleasure centers, and the serotonin levels drops, which adds a touch of obsession, you will get a crazy, pleasurable, and somewhat foolish love. Why do you always attract people you don't like and never the ones you do? It's a pretty interesting question with a rather unexpected conclusion. But before we tackle that, let's understand how the brain of someone in love works. Imagine for a moment that you managed to convince 2,500 students to participate in an experiment. Now take a functional magnetic resonance imaging machine to see how different areas of their brain turn on and off in real time. Now show a photo of a completely random person to each student and analyze their brain. Then show each of the participants a photo of a very close member of their family or their partner and analyze their brain with that machine again. Perfect. Now you can compare the two results and you'll see that they are exactly the same until you ask a scientist and they tell you they are completely different. This is a real research done by Helen Fisher, Arthur, Aaron, and Lucy L. Brown in 2005. But since I know that you are not interested in the researchers, I am going to tell you the results of comparing these two images that are terribly similar. This is the ventral tegmental area, which is associated with pleasure, focused attention, and motivation to pursue reward. And this little thing here is the caudate nucleus, which has many functions, one of which is the detection and expectation of reward. Well, the ventral tegmental area is part of a neural circuit called the reward circuit. That as a whole is responsible for reinforcing behaviors that produce pleasure, like indulging in this entire pack of cookies that are not very healthy. In the initial phase of love, levels of cortisol, the hormone responsible for stress, and levels of dopamine, which we already know, increase a barbarity, while levels of serotonin decrease. In fact, the dopamine released by a person when they are in love activates the reward circuit, leading to a feeling of euphoria similar to consuming cocaine or alcohol. In fact, a study was conducted with flies to compare this. They had male fruit flies mate with female flies and male flies that did not mate with female flies. Then, they gave alcohol to each of the flies. The flies that did not mate drank 4 times more alcohol than the flies that had mated, solely with the aim of reaching the same feeling of euphoria. Additionally, it has been proven that love deactivates the neural pathway responsible for negative emotions. This combines with the halo effect, which, if you want, I can make a video about because it is a wonderful effect and makes you see the person you like as a perfect person with 0 flaws. An interesting fact is that it was discovered that if love lasts more than 1 or 2 years, serotonin and cortisol levels will return to normal. This means that the roller coaster of emotions, anxiety, and stress completely disappears, and you start to notice some small flaws in the person you like. Now let's answer the question we came for. Why do you always attract people you don't like and never the ones you do? Well, you might be surprised that I'm not going to answer this question with psychological effects and experiments and various shenanigans, but rather with simple mathematics. Let's say you have 10 friends. 10 girls with whom you have more or less frequent contact. 9 of them are just friends, and there's one that you really like. You've been in love with her since 4th grade. You dream about her every night. She's the perfect girl. Well, I'll make a small parenthesis here, because if you're a girl and you're watching this video, then change the word and replace girl with boy. Now let's say you're a rather attractive guy and the probability of someone being attracted to you is 20%. This number doesn't really matter because this 20% is a constant, meaning it's the same for all the people who are attracted to you. So, the probability that the girl you like is attracted to you is 20%. But now, let's calculate the probability that at least one of the people you don't like, who we remember were 9, is attracted to you. Here's where it gets interesting. We're going to apply some math formulas recommended by ChatGPT to figure out this probability. And ta-da! We get an 86.6% chance of being liked by someone you don't like. If we convert these percentages to decimal, we see that it's 4.33 times more likely you'll attract someone you don't like in this scenario. Now let's compare this fictional situation we made up with a real-life one. In reality, you probably don't just interact with 10 girls. You might interact with 20 or 30, and you like one of them. This ratio goes up a lot more. But we've done all this assuming 20% is a constant, meaning you have the same chance of attracting everyone. And that's not true. For instance, if you are this person and you're trying to attract this one person, I can wish you all the luck in the world, but it's pretty tough to pull off. It's simply because you might not share many interests. On the flip side, if you try to attract this person, the chance seems much higher. So here's the trick. You need to increase your chances of attracting people you're interested in. And how do you do that? Well, I don't know, but there are scientific studies that seem to have the answers, so let me tell you about them. There are 4 components that increase the likelihood of someone liking you: similarity, familiarity, reciprocity, and physical attractiveness. This means that if you resemble them, if they find you attractive, if you let them know you like them, and if they see you often and your face becomes familiar, it's more likely they'll be attracted to you. And here's something that might either blow your mind or excite you. I don't know what will happen, but I have to say it because it's a fact. Physical attractiveness is by far the most important factor. The good news is that physical attractiveness isn't just about how good-looking or ugly you are, but also about how you dress, your style, body language. I also have to mention that this is a very complex topic. Even though psychologists have analyzed it thousands of times, there are still many variables that escape us. After all, I'm just the messenger here, so I recommend that if you're interested in the scientific studies and found the video overwhelming with too much information, take a break and watch it again. Seriously, it's a lot to take in. I'm gonna take an ibuprofen. See you in the next one.